ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمد عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إخوة الإيمان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us another opportunity to be here today, being another Friday, which is the first Friday in the holy month of Ramadan, and is equivalent to the 5th day of the month of Ramadan, year 1445, after the year of Prophet Muhammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which corresponds with the 15th day of the month of March, year 2024. The Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has temporarily seized our soul last night, and He has restored it back to us this morning, and He has given us the opportunity to have lived and exist on the earth's surface till this point in time to come for our Salatul Jummah. May Allah accept this as an act of ibadah from us and give us the opportunity to be a fulfilled believer and grant us Al-Jannah to Firdaus whenever we return back to Him. Last week, we started discussion concerning the origin of Ramadan, the permissibility of legal activities, of sexual activities, and the discussion concerning the dawn meal and the dusk meal, which is the sahur and the iftar. We started that discussion last week, and we promised we are going to continue today. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Holy Qur'an, Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim wa bihi nasta'in. Uhilla lakum laylata siyami rafasu ila nisaikum kunna libasun lakum wa antum libasun lahunna. Alima Allahu annakum kuntum tahtanuna anfusakum fataba alaykum wa afa ankum. Fal'an bashiruhunna wabtaghu ma kataba Allahu lakum وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ ثُمَّ أَتِمُّوا الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ وَلَا تُبَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ تِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ فَلَا تَقْرَبُوهَا كَذَلِكَ يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ آيَاتِهِ لِلنَّاسِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. صدق الله العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, as we have discussed these verses concerning the Sawm of Ramadan, and we got to the ayah which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had permitted us to have intimacy with our women. Reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this opportunity, we have explained. And the sabab al-nuzul, the essence of this revelation, we have explained extensively last week. And where we stop is where we are going to continue from this today, inshallah. But just to summarize, from the beginning of this particular ayah, which is Qur'an Chapter 2, verse 187, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِلَّا لَكُمْ لَيْلَةَ السِّيَامِ رَفَسُ إِلَى نِسَائِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we have given you the opportunity, we have given you the mandate to touch your women. And we explained extensively concerning this arrafas. Literally, arrafas means to touch your wife. From the Arabic point of view. But in this context, it means having a copulation with your legally married wife. which is the ijma. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referred to in this particular verse. Allah said, during the month of Ramadan, we are giving you the opportunity after your iftar to have a legal consummation with your wife. Hunna libasun lakum. This your wife, they are your garment. Wa antum libasun lahunna. And you the male, and you the man, and you the husband, you are also their what? You are also their garments. We have explained all this. Allah continues to be saying, Alim Allah, me Allah. Alima, I know. Annakum kuntum tahtanun. That before the revelation or the permissibility of this particular action, I know that kuntum tahtatuna anfusakum. You are tahtanun anfusakum. You are being cheating on yourself. You are being illegally copulating with your women before the revelation of this verse. Allah now said, after you people have revealed unto yourself, you have exposed yourself, you have narrated the incidences that happened between you and your women to Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fataba alaykum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have forgiven you. Wa afa ankum. And have forgotten what you have done. After the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah said, I have forgotten. I won't look back to it. It has become an action that you have observed in the past. So I have forgiven you and I will forget about it. Let's move on. Allah now said, Fara'an, at this point in time, after this forgiveness, after this forgetfulness about what you have done in the past, Bashiruhunna, I'm asking you, I'm enjoying you to start copulating with your women. Wabtagu ma kataballahu lakum. And continue to be seeking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained on you. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already destined for you, that you are going to give birth to 3 children, you are going to give birth to 2 children, you are going to give birth to only male children, you are going to give birth to only female children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Wabtagu. Continue asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ma kataballahu lakum. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on you. If you don't ask, you will not get. So Allah is enjoying us to ask and to put you into action. And the action you are going to put into it is by what? By doing ijma with your women. After the ijma, that doesn't certify that what you have done over the night with your women will come to what you want it to be. So you need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah, you have asked us to do this legally. You have permitted us to do this legally. Allah, we have done it. Now we are asking you to give us the best out of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us all this opportunity to do. Now, he now wants to talk about the iftar and the imsak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to stress on the permissibility of when we are supposed to commence our eating and when we are supposed to what? To break our fasting. Which is the center point of our discussion today. After the copulation with your wife over the night, you clean up. You now left for the masjid to go observe your Salatul Subhi. Or you take your Sahur, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enjoy us and he had encouraged us through Prophet Muhammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do. Allah said, if you have cleaned up finished, wakulu, you should eat. Washirabu, and you should drink. Atta yatabayyana lakum al-khayt al-abyadu min al-khayt al-aswadi. This is our bone of contention that we are going to discuss today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, eat, drink, until the black thread becomes visible and until the white thread becomes visible in the middle of the night. And in Arabic, if you are talking about atta, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used it here, it refers to what? Al-Gaya, to take something to the apex, to take something to the extreme edge. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said there. Wakulu washirabu atta ilal gaya. From the people that understood lugha in Arabic. Atta means to ensure that you have gotten to the final point. You have gotten to the final destination. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to. Then what is it that Allah is telling us that you should do at the end time? That is the what? That is the what? That is the sahur that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to take. Indicating that you should not eat your sahur in the midnight. You should eat your sahur at what? At the dawn. And I told us that then there was no any scientific gadget that they can use to evaluate when should they stop eating and when should they continue eating. But what the Arab, what they understood in this context of this verse is حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود. Al-Khayt here, it means thread. The thread we use to what? To sew our clothes. It's quite different from what? It's quite different from rope. A rope is called al-hablu or al-ukol. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, until when the visibility of the black thread becomes visible, that you can see during the day that this black thread is a black thread. Inside darkness, can you see a black thread? So when the black thread now becomes visible, that is when you should do what? You should stop eating your what? Your sahur. I hope you are following. From this, it will be a bit kind of complicated. So the Arab then, what they used to do is that they will now go and look for two threads. Because Allah has said, حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضِ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ. Until you can differentiate between the black thread and the white thread during the day. That is when you are going to what? Stop eating the sahur. So majority of them, they will now go and look for two types of thread, the white and the black. They will now tie it on their leg. And they will continue eating. And you know then, there is no electricity, there is no light that you can on-light in our various homes during the night. All these were not available then. So they will be expecting the ray of the light of the day. And that is when they will now do what? They will now stop eating. Because what they understood as Al-Khayt is what? Is thread. We have different kind of what? Different kind of Arabic language. But the best of the Arabic language that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used to us, that is more available in the world, is the accent of the Quraysh. And it is that accent that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used to do what? To reveal the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already said what he wants to say. And he kept mute. At this point, there was another Sahabi that is called Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy. Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy. He was a companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are two narrations concerning him in the hadith. That Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy also used to get two threads. Apart from the Quraysh, he also used to get two threads and place it around him. That he wants to see when the black thread will now be visible during the day. Another narration said, no. Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy, he went and looked for two ropes, as narrated in the hadith of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That this hadith was narrated by Saheed ibn Sa'd. Qala unzilat, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed unto the ummah this particular portion of this verse of Qur'an chapter 2, verse 187. That you people should continue eating throughout the night until the black thread and the white thread become visible to your sight. That is when you are now going to what? To stop eating. Saheed ibn Sa'ad was now saying that Walam yanzal. You know, I told us partially last week that this particular portion of this verse was revealed twice. The stoppage of the eating, as at when the visibility of this white thread and the black thread will be visible, was revealed in a particular year before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now completed it with Ilal Fajr. Because the verse is Atta yubayyinu lakum khaytul abyadu min al-khaytil aswadi illa al-fajr. And I was trying to explain Atta the other time that Atta is at the end of an event. But Ila means at the beginning. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that the latest part of the night to the beginning of the what? Of the dawn. Illa al-fajr. That is when we should stop eating. You eat at the latest part of the night and stop eating at the what? At the beginning of the what? Of the dawn. So the latest part of the night was revealed to a particular year. So when the confusion now came on board within the Arabs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now completed that particular portion of that verse to Illa al-Fajr. That you should stop your dawn meal at when? At the rise of the dawn. I hope you are getting it. Indicating that this portion of this verse was revealed, a particular portion was revealed in a year, and the completing part of it, Illa al-Fajr, was completed in another year. So Saheed ibn Sa'ad now told us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, walam yanzal, he didn't reveal unto us, min al-fajr, that you should stop eating when the dawn wants to arise. Wakana rajul, he now said, whenever a man aradul som, they want to fast, ربط أحدهم في رجليه الخيط الأبيض والخيط الأسود, which I have explained. Whenever they want to fast, then they will now tie a rope, they will now tie a thread, white thread and black thread on their leg. فلا يزال يأكل حتى يتبين له رؤيتهما, that they will never stop eating until they see the visibility of the black thread, that this black thread is black thread, that they can see that it's a black thread. They will continue eating till they will discover that it's a black thread, indicating that they are differentiating from the darkness from the light. Atta yanzil fa'anzalallahu ba'da zalika min al-fajr, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now reveal unto them min al-fajr. Whenever you are about to commence the fajr, then you should do what? You should stop eating. فَعَلِمُوا أَنَّهُ يَعْنِي اللَّيْلُ وَالنَّهَارُ. It was after then they now discovered that Al-Khayt al-Abyadu, the white thread, wal-Khayt al-Aswadi, the black thread. What it means is that what? Is the night and the day. I hope you are getting it. Saheed ibn Sa'ad now said, Wakola Imam Ahmad, that Imam Ahmad also expatiated on this particular portion of this verse. Haddathana Husayn ahbarna Husayn an Shabi ahbarana Hadiyy ibn Hateem qala, that Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy, that I mentioned to us, that an incident happened to him, that this Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy qala lama nazalat hadhihi al-aya, when this particular verse was revealed, this particular companion of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam called Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy, when this ayah was revealed, wakulu washrabu, حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود. At that point, Min al-Fajr did not get to him. So Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy, he now went to look for 2 ropes, not even thread. Al-Quran, 2 ropes. He now placed he went to search for 2 ropes. Ahaduhuma aswadu wa ukhra abyadu. One of them was a white rope and the second one was a black rope. Faqala faja'altu ta'ati qala faja'altuhuma ta'ata wa wisadati. What this Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy did was that after getting the 2 ropes, he now placed the 2 ropes under his pillow. Wisada means pillow. Matashin Khayt. He placed it under his pillow. Qala. He now said, Faja'altu anzuru ilayhima. After placing them under the pillow, he started observing when the light of the day will reflect, so that I can be able to differentiate between the white robe and the what? And the black robe. فَلَمَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْأَسْوَدِ. Until when the black robe and the white robe were able to be differentiated, that was when he now stopped eating. فَلَمَا أَصْبَحَ. When he now woke up, غَدَوْتَ إِلَى رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy, he now went to Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the following day, because these Quraysh, they are righteous. These Sahabas, they are righteous people. If they hear anything from Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will inquire more. If they see anything that is in a state of ambiguity to them, they will request for the knowledge from Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, what he did that he was not too clear about, he wrote to Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the following day. On getting to him, he now told Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that فَأَبَتُ بِالَّذِي صَنَعْتُ فَقَالَ. He now narrated to Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that last night what I did was that I got 2 ropes and I placed the 2 ropes under my pillow, so that I was in anticipation till the time that the ray of light will reflect and I'll be able to differentiate between the black robe and the white robe, so that I can stop eating my sahur. Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam now laughed at him that, Ya Hadiyy, oh you Hadiyy, innaka la arid. You Hadiyy, innaka la harid. You must have a big head. I want you to follow me, because in this statement there are some idiomatic expressions that you need to understand. Innaka la harid. Ya Hadiyy, you must have a very big head. Brothers, does it mean that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has abused him? Because in Arabic, if they call you, if they mention to you that innaka la harid, that means you have a very big head that is of no use. That is the meaning of innaka la harid. And Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam now uttered this statement to Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy that, Ya Hadiyy, innaka la harid. Oh Hadiyy, you must have a very big head. After some time, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him again that, Ya Hadiyy, inna wisadaka la harid. You know, he told Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he did what? He placed the 2 ropes under his robe. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him in the first place that he must have a very big head. The second one, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, inna wisadaka la harid, that your pillow that you have placed the 2 what? The 2 ropes under them must be very big. Number 3, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, innaka la haridul qafa. That your inna wisada inna La hariduka al-kofa. That innaka la haridul kofa. Innaka la haridu al-kofa. That your head and your pillow must be very big. And in Sahih Bukhari, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned again that innaka la doham. The first statement that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned to him, innaka la doham. Oh, ya Hadiyy, for you to have gotten this, for you to have looked for, that means even you must be very obese, you must be very fat. These were the four statements that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned to Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy. Because of what? Because of his understanding about Al-Khayt. And what do we mean by Al-Khayt? As we have mentioned at the inception of this khutbah, it means what? A thread. But Hadiyy did not even go below a thread. He didn't look for a thread. He went to look for what? Ropes. He looked for a black rope and a white rope. He now placed the two ropes under his pillow. And he continued eating. He continued eating the sahur. He was anticipating, he was waiting for the reflection of the light of the day that will illuminate the ropes under his pillow so that he can differentiate the white rope from the black rope. And what is going to happen? When the ray of light sets in, you'll be able to identify the black rope. So when he now got to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he briefed him, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam now told him that you this Hadiyy ibn Hateem, innaka la harid, you must have a very big head. And I asked the other time, do Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam curse or abuse anybody? La. This is just a language. But what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant was that innaka la harid, you must have a very big head. That what we mean by the two ropes, what we mean by the two ropes of Al-Khayt is the day and night. Al-Khayt al-abyadu wal-Khayt al-aswadu. The white rope means the light of the day. The Khayt al-aswadu means what? The darkness of the day. But as I said, we have different accents of what? Of Arabic. The Arabic, the intonation of Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy was doing the accent of the Arab of the Quraysh. So he doesn't understand what Al-Khayt means, the way the Quraysh understood it. It's just like we speaking Hausa, like a lamp in Zaria now. They will call it fitila. If you go to Sokoto, they will call it hitila. You can see, and they are referring to what? Lamp or lantern. The way an Ijesha man will greet you in the Yoruba land is quite different from the way an Ogbomoso man is going to greet you. The way a Fulani man will greet you in Akwana is different from the Fulani from Katsina. It's different from the way the Fulani from Sokoto is going to greet you. So, Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy, he understood the Al-Khayt from the point of view of what? Of rope. He never understood it to be what? Al-Bayadun Nahari wa Sawadul Layl. He never understood it to be what? To be the light of the day when the dawn is setting in. I never understood it to be what? The later part of the night when you have to do what? To stop eating. To commence eating. The later part of the night is when you should what? You should commence the eating of your sahur. And you should stop immediately when the al-fijr is what? Is setting in. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you ya Hateem, innaka la harid. You must have a very big head. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, inna wisadaka la harid. Your pillow must be very big. And for us to know the sunrise and the sunset, you know they are very far away from each other. It's like you are talking geographically, you are talking about the north and the south. And the sun used to rise from the where? From the east and set at the west, at the where? At the west. The distance between the east and the west is what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is referring to. That, oh, you Hadiyy, for you to have gotten a pillow, a wisada, a pillow that you now put 2 ropes under. That means that your pillow must be very big. It must cover a distance from the east to the west. That was what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, referred to inna wisadaka la arid. That was the second statement. I hope you are getting it. The first one was, you have a very what? A very big head. You know, it was a proverb. It was an adjective or an idiomatic expression. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will never abuse anybody. Thirdly, he now told him, innaka la aridul qafa. Oh ya Hadiyy, your head and your pillow that you place the ropes under, these two must be very big. Your head must be very big. Your pillow must be very big to the extent that the pillow will be able to cover where? To cover the east and the west. And what is Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam trying to teach him? To tell him about the what? About the darkness of the day and the light of the day. So that we know when to stop eating and when to commence eating. Number 4, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, innaka la doha. Oh ya Hadiyy, you must be a very fat person. If for you have gotten a very big pillow, that the pillow can cover a very reasonable distance, that covers the north to the south or covers the east to the west, that means you must be a very fat person that has a very big body, that will place his body and his head on top of a very wide range of what? Of pillow. I hope you are getting it. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is just trying to establish to us that this is what Hadiyy did not know just because of his Arabic accent. As we have told us that we have varieties of Arabic. The way, even the Western English, you have US English, you have UK English, you have different types of English. So also in our different ethnic groups. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy that what we mean by Al-Khayt al-Abyadu wal-Khayt al-Aswadu iya bayadun nahari wa sawadul layl. I hope you understood. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam now told us in an authentic hadith when we are supposed to what? When we are supposed to stop eating and when we are supposed to commence our eating. And Aisha, radiallahu ta'ala anha, Sayyidatuna Aisha said, Anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, called, he said, La yamunanakum, la yamunakum. We are not going to be denying you. We are not denying you. We are not stopping you. Not to continue to be eating. La yamunakum adhanu Bilal. The call to prayer of Bilal cannot stop you eating. Bilal ibn Abi Rabah. We all know he was the first muazzin in Islam. And he was the one that Allah gave the opportunity to mount the top of the Kaaba during the Fatih of Mekkan to call to prayer for the declaration of the conquest of Mecca after 9 years that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left. Bilal used to be the one that called to prayer for Nabi Muhammad during his lifetime. After the demise of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he left Mecca, he went back to Abyssinia. During the time of Abu Bakr, he was nowhere to be found. During the time of Abu Bakr, Saheed Umar as the Khalifa, Umar radiallahu ta'ala invited him to Medina. Unfortunately, he came after a lot of invitations that he has turned back. When he now came, at the time that they want to observe the Salat, Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu now asked him that, Ya Bilal, please can you call to prayer for us? Bilal refused to call to prayer. He pleaded with him the second time. He refused to call to prayer. The third time, he now asked him that Billahi wa Rasuli, call to prayer for us. Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu started calling to prayer. The way he used to call to prayer during the time of Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Bilal never completed Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. He started weeping tears profusely to the extent that he didn't complete that call to prayer. Because Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, the Muhammad that he used to call for, that he used to sit down in the masjid, that he call for, or whenever he's in his house, that will come out after hearing his call. The Muhammad is no more there again, and he can't say Ashhadu anna Umar Khalifa. He did not complete that call to prayer because of his loyalty to Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He never called prayer for anybody throughout his entire life till he returned back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's this same Bilal that Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam now told us about. That la yamuna annakum adhanul Bilal. The call to prayer of Bilal cannot stop you eating when you are eating your sahur. It can't stop you eating. That you should continue eating. فَإِنَّهُ يُنَادِي بِاللَّيْلِ. That Bilal used to call prayer in the middle part of the night. I don't know, maybe it's very rampant here, that in various masajids, they used to call twice for Salatul Subuhi. And in Islam, if not because you change it, the first prayer you are supposed to call is supposed to be As-salatu khairu minan nawm. But it's the one that we now take to the second one. As-salatu khairu minan nawm should be the first call to prayer. And that is the one that Bilal used to call. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, continue eating. Whenever Bilal did what? Bilal calls to prayer. That his prayer cannot stop you eating. Because he calls in the middle of the day. Fakulu washirabu. You should continue eating. Ata tasma'u adhan ibn Maktoum. Until you hear the call of Abdullah ibn Maktoum. فَإِنَّهُ لَا يُؤَذِّنُ أَتَّى يُطَلِّعَ الْفَجْرَ. The Abdullah ibn Maktoum, Abdullah ibn al-Maktoum, he was a blind man. Most of the time, if Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going on a battle, is going on any expedition, it is this Abdullah ibn Maktoum that will place the affairs of the Medina. You place the affairs of the Medina into his hand. That you are the Khalifa, take care of the Muslim Ummah for us. And he was a blind man. He was blind. It was his sight that was blind. His heart was not blind. Was not blinded. Bilal, there was a person that his sight is visibly open, doesn't recognize the Fajr. But the blind man, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, is the one that even recognized what? The time that we are supposed to stop our what? Our sahur. That is what Aisha narrated to us from the saying of Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Before I go on to another hadith, I hope I have explained to us what Al-Khayt al-Abyadu min Al-Khayt al-Aswadi ila al-Fajri. We've all understood. Allah now said, going back to that verse, Summa atimu siyamu ila al-layl. Then you should continue your fasting till what? Till the night. Which night? We have finished our sahur. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to continue our fasting till night. Which night? Does it mean that our breaking of fast must be in the night? Which we are going to explain. I hope we are following. Amirul Mu'minin, Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, said, Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told them, Iza akbala layla min ahuna wa adbara na'ara min ahuna faqad aftaru as-sa'im. This is concerning the iftar. Abdullah ibn Maktoum, the blind man that we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us to understand that the Fajr is of two types. Al-Fajr al-Kadhib, the real Fajr, the real dawn. Wa Fajr al-Kadhib, and the false dawn. Then how are we going to identify which one is the real dawn and which one is the false Fajr, which we have quoted from the context of Abdullah ibn Maktoum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as he mentioned to us, that summa atimu siyamu ila al-layl, that we should continue our fasting till the midnight. Now, Nabiyuna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has told us that the Fajr that we need to terminate our prayer, we can't understand the Fajr until we understand the climatic condition that we found ourselves in. And it's not everybody that knows the observation of the weather. It's not everybody that will be observant. It's not everybody that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the knowledge. Brothers, I've told us that we have two types of what? Of Fajr, which is the Fajr al-Sadiq or Fajr al-Kadhib. Now, we don't know how to identify it. An agreement was reached that we should now use time. But it's not all time that is equivalent to each other. And even if we want to identify it, it might be very difficult for us because of some gaseous emissions that has affected our atmospheric condition. We can see gas flaring, burning of bushes. All this will be affecting the visibility of the Fajr, which we might not understood. We now have opportunity of setting time. But the time cannot be unanimous because we are not in the same geographical zone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what he wanted us to do is to be observant with what? With the Fajr and the Ishraq. Now, time is being set aside. We are to call to prayer. But it's not everywhere that is being allowed to call to prayer, to pronounce it. In Lagos State now, you have the opportunity of call to prayer, do your ikama. But whenever you are raising your salat, you are establishing your salat, you should not loud it. That is the condition given to masajids in Lagos State. So, in locations where they are not even to call to prayer, they are not even allowed to pronounce their ikama. How will they come together and observe their sahur? How will they come and observe their iftar? How will they come together and observe their jama'ah? In this situation, we look into what we call al-intiyai. Al-intiyai, we consider maybe. Because the apps that majority of us will rely upon on all these Muslim Pro, that virtually everybody has it on their Android. Not all of them tallies with the actual time that we are supposed to do what? To do our sahur, and the time we are supposed to do our what? Al-iftar. It's not all. That is what will give us the opportunity of discussing about the rotation and the revolution of the earth, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already told us in the Quran. وَالشَّمْسُ تَجْرِي لِمُسْتَقَرٍ لَهَا ذَلِكَ تَقْدِيرُ الْعَزِيزِ الْعَلِيمِ. Because we have discussed that of Fajr now. What of the iftar? And Allah said, وَأَتِمُوا الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. You should continue fasting till the night. Which part of the night is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referring to? Brothers, we are all living in this globe. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spared our life till this time, we are all living in this world, on the earth. We have different kind of planets, but the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed us on at this point in time is the earth, among the 7 planets that we have in the world. The alteration of the day and night can only be possible if the earth itself, the earth is just like a ball. This earth that me and you we are living in, is just like a ball, and it has an imaginary axis. What I mean by imaginary axis, like a line, or we are traveling on a highway now. In front of you, either you are the driver driving or the person sitting beside the driver in front of the vehicle, you'll be seeing at a far distance as if there is water in front of you. That is what scientifically we call what? Mirage. And you'll be getting closer. The more you are getting closer to the mirage, the more far away it's going from you. So this earth that me and you we are living in, it has an imaginary. What we mean by imaginary is something that is not visible. So the earth itself has an imaginary line in it. So the earth will continue to be rotating around the what? Around the imaginary line at a particular speed within an hour. So the rotation of this earth around this imaginary line is the one that will give us day and night. I hope you are following. So that majority of us, we should understand that there is nothing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not talk about. There is nothing that Quran did not talk about. It just depends on the level of our understanding. All this that the scientists are proving yesterday and today, and the ones that they are yet to discover, Quran has taught us everything. So this earth will continue rotating around this imaginary axis. It will now give us day and night at a speed of 1,670 kilometers per hour. So invariably, the earth will rotate around its imaginary axis at the speed of 4,080 kilometers within 24 hours. This is what determines my existence and your existence to have the day and night. Wal-layli iza saja, wan-nahari iza tajalla, wash-shamsi wa du'aha, wal-qamari iza talaha, wan-nahari iza jallaha, wal-layli iza yaghsha. When the night envelope itself, that somebody will be coming, you even be able to identify the person coming. Wal-layli iza saja, wal-layli iza yaghsha. When the night envelope itself, the way you too, you clothe yourself, you don't want anybody to see your nakedness. That is how the night also envelope. There you see somebody will be coming, you won't identify him. When the sun reaches the horizon, everywhere becomes illuminated with the ray and the intensity of light of the sun. This is what gives me and you the life. We are talking about the rotation. Now, that imaginary axis is on a vertical plane. After some time, it will now be tilted. That same imaginary line that we can't see, it now becomes tilted at a particular angle. And that angle is angle 23.5. Sorry, please, for those of us that we are not science students, but you just have to follow me so that you can understand this. Al-Khayt al-Abiyadu min al-Khayt al-Aswadi min al-Fajri. Summa atimu siyam ila al-layli. This is our point of discussion today. You know, we are taking it from that ayah. It's not a whole ayah. It's a sub-ayah. So that those of us that used to eat at 6 o'clock, those of us that used to eat at 5:45, we should know where we fall into so that we can make the amendments now. When are we supposed to stop it now? We are going to know from this ayah and from this analysis I'm doing. May Allah guide us aright. This angle will tilt to an angle of 23.5 degrees. All this is in Quran before the scientists now prove it. So if you measure it on an horizontal plane, the earth is going to fall to a degree of 66.5 plus 66.5 to 23.5. We have angle 90 degrees. So the earth will now fall into what? Angle 66.5. The imaginary axis will follow it. And we know this imaginary axis has a northern pole and it has a what? Southern pole from our compass. You have the north, you have the south, you have the west, and you have the east. So as that imaginary angle is tilting, the earth is also what? Tilting, indicating that the angle that is at angle 90 has turned to another angle, which is 66.5. And at the top, underneath the North Pole, we have the Arctic Circle. We have the Antarctic Circle at the bottom. We have the Tropic of Cancer. You have the Tropic of Capricorn. Then you now have the line of equator, where we have the Greenwich Meridian time at 0 degree. I want to tell us the reason why we have variations in our timing zones and according to the Quran. Not by what Faraday or one Theophilus proved to us. What Quran told us. I hope you are following. So this earth are already what? Had already tilted at this angle. So all the angles, all the regions, they have already been what? They have been tilted along with the imaginary axis. But the sun is there watching. The whole of this earth that has revolved, that has rotated around what? Around the sun imaginary axis, it will now revolve around the sun. That is what we have as what? As revolution. So what gives us our day and light is the rotation. What gives us our year is the revolution. The revolvement or the revolution of the earth around the sun is what gives us the what? The revolution. The rotation or the movement of the sun around its imaginary axis is the what? Is the rotation. Then the earth entirely with its imaginary axis now moving around the sun will now give us what? The revolution. We give us 365 days and 6 hours. This will come first year, second year, third year. We'll be having 365 days, 6 hours. First year, second year, consecutively for third year, till 3 years. The fourth year, we are now going to have 366 days. That is going to give us what? Leap year. The 6 hours of the first year, the 6 hours of the second year, the 6 hours of the third year, plus the 6 hours of the fourth year will now be 24 hours. Plus that 365 at the fourth year will now give us leap year like that of this year. That we have February to be 29. Before we are going to have another February 29 will be 2028. So washamshi tajri limustaqarrin la dhalika taqdirul azizul alim wal qamara qadarnahu manazila ata kal urjani qadim la shamshi yanbaghi laha la shamshu al shamshu la yanbaghi laha is not ordained unto that sun. La shamshu, sun, la yanbaghi laha, is not ordained unto him. And to direct al-qamara, to hasten fast or to move, to accelerate faster than al-qamara. It will never move faster than the qamar. It will move along its own alignment at the appropriate and designated speed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned to do. So the sun will come out during the day as it is now and go. The qamar, the moon, will now take over from what? From the sun. At when? At the appropriate time that we are talking about. Al-laylu. At the later part of the night. I hope you understood what the rotation is now. That gives us the light and the day. We understood what the revolution is. That gives us the year. Now, where did the effect of this longitude and this latitude? As I have told us, we know that this globe that we are living in is what? It's a circle. And from the geographical point of view, the geographers or the astronomers, they told us that the earth is spherical. That means it looks like an eclipse. or ellipse or eclipse, like a shape of an oval, like an egg. You know, an egg is not circle. That is what they prove to us, that is how the earth is. The Jupiter might have its own shape. The Pluto might have its own shape. But our own earth that we are residing in, where we are breathing, where we are living, where we are dying, where they are burying us, they said it is like a spherical shape. There is a particular time that this earth will be closer to the sun. There is a particular time that this earth will be far away from the sun, because the sun is not situated centrally in the globe. So when this globe, when this earth tilted, when the globe tilted, definitely, as we have said, because we are trying to discover at what degree, we in Nigeria here, at what degree we are measuring the latitude and the longitude, at what degree are we supposed to do our sahur, and at what degree are we supposed to do our what? Our iftar. So that even if you don't know how to observe the fajr, you don't know how to observe the iftar, when you have it at the back of your mind that this is so degree that you can even measure outside, you will know that it is time for you to stop eating. It is time for you to do what? To break your fast. Our forefathers in those days, that they did not read more than Al-Ali, they don't know all this Ibn Kasir, Ibn Hateem that our malams are teaching us today. That their Al-Ali is a pure fiqh book, written by Imam Malik, karamallahu wajhahu. Everything about fiqh is in that, as little as that Al-Ali is. Those of you that you go to Makarantan Zawri, after your Quran, that is the first elementary fiqh books that you study. Ashimawi, Iziya, Zabura to Dawuda, all these small books. Before you be talking about them, Muatta Imam Malik. All these, how you can measure the day, how you can measure the night, all of them are in Adori, that they call Alari, or they call it Lalari. The Yoruba people, they call it Lalari. Adori. Now, for us to be able to know what we are talking about, the latitude, the longitude, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, definitely it will change, and that will define the particular time that each particular zone find themselves. The world has changed to a particular certain angle of 63.5 degrees, right? So a particular region, they will fall into darkness. A particular region, they will fall into the light of the day, because the sun is there watching at the what? At the earth. Because it's not horizontal. It has been what? It has been tilted. And we said it, the people at the top, under the northern pole, people at the Arctic Circle, they will be seeing more of the night, more of the day, before the people at the Arctic Circle or Antarctic Circle. The people at the Tropic of Cancer, they will be seeing more of the light of the day, before the people at the Tropic of Capricorn. Because they are already in darkness. And some people at the equator, which paraventure is where we fall into, which they are going to tell us now. We now have a longer day that is more than a shorter day. Because all the regions around the equator, which is at 0 degree, they always have equal day, equal night. The only variation difference in that they can have is either plus or minus 30 minutes. Religious-wise, there wasn't a unification about the timing. Not until when they now agreed that, okay, if we ask this country to use their time, it will be different from our own. Because in those days, there wasn't anything like this wristwatch we are using. There wasn't anything like the wall clock. There wasn't anything like the bell. Some, they use sand to measure their timing. Some, like ancient Egyptian, ancient Chinese, they used to use the crow of the cock to determine the time. They don't have anything. This 1 o'clock, this 2 o'clock. It wasn't existing. So, if we find ourselves in that situation today, how are we going to define the time that is for Salatul Zuhr, the time for Salatul Asr, the time for Fajr? How are we going to define it? Now, we are here now, we have a sensor, a body that regulates the what? That regulates the timing. That will now tell us, by so o'clock, you can break your fast. But we must do intiyai, as I said. You consider maybe that plus minus, plus 5, plus 10, minus 5, minus 10, so that you will not fall into shakku, into a state of ambiguity, into a state of misconception. We, in Nigeria now, we have 2 hours ahead of United Kingdom. In Tokyo or New York, we are 6 hours ahead of New York. In Tokyo, they are 8 hours ahead of us. We and Paris, we are using the same, we are in the same time zone because we are around the same equator. Cape Town and Cairo, they are 2 hours ahead of us. Now, if we are using a unified timing system, that all of us, we are not in the same geographical location, how do we want to be breaking our fast? How do we want to be doing our imsak? Because Quran has told us, Quran has told us, "Atta yatabayyana lakum min al-khayt al-abyadu ila al-khayt al-aswadi, wa atimu siyamu ila al-layl." That we should continue fasting till what? Till the night. Then what is the night time? What is the time of the night that we need to what? To stop the fasting? Because laylu is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refer to. If it is in the evening, Allah will say bukra. Bukratan wa asila. In the evening and in the morning. But Allah said laylu. Then which part of the day? That means the sun might have what? Might have fallen entirely before we do what? We do our imsak. Then what is the time that we do our iftar? Then what is the time that the sun had fallen in this country that we can establish? We are saying all this to let us know that time is not the one that we should use to determine our activities in Islam. It is the climatic condition, not time. We have a lot of Islamic astronomers like Abu Rayhan al-Biruni. They are the ancient astronomers that they worked on physics, they work on science, they worked on astronomy. They are Muslims. And they've done all this research concerning this earth. They done research concerning this timing. And they established to us that in so area, like in America now, those in the Northern America, they can use 15 degrees. When the sunrise is in between 15 and 18 degrees, they can break. When the sunset is at 15 to 18 degrees, they can break. But we in Nigeria, did Al-Biruni spoke about us? No, but Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had already spoke about us. Another astronomer, an Islamic astronomer, Muhammad ibn Muhammad al-Jahani. So also, Abu Hamza al-Jirbandi. All these, they are astronomers, al-Birjandi. They are astronomers that they have worked for Islam. And their records are there. That in this particular zone, when you are at a certain degree like this, you can do your imsak and you can do your what? Iftar. In Nigeria, if you are within the latitude of 4 to 14 degrees. And if we are in the longitudinal section of the globe, between 3 to 15 degrees, then we can do our iftar, we can do our what? Our imsak. This degree we are talking about, what time did they correspond to? Today now. our Fajr setting at what? 5:50 a.m. So if you know that is when our Fajr comes in or sets in, then al-intihai that I said, maybe, so we minus maybe 10 minutes from it. So that we won't fall into what we call a shakku. I have what Sheikh Usman ibn Taymiyyah, 5 points that he mentioned concerning this Fajr that I have here, but time will not permit me. That if you mistakenly eat during the time that Al-Fajr enter, what is the status of your fasting? If you eat at the time that you don't know when Al-Fajr enter and you continue eating, what is the status of your fasting? Or you are eating, but you are having doubts that it has entered, it has not entered. What is your status of your fasting? Imam Sheikh Usman ibn Hateem, he mentioned a lot of these mas'alas, which I thought time will permit us to discuss. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to tell us that Atimu siyamu ila layl. You people should continue to be eating till the later part of the night. When you continue eating to the later part of the night, which we can establish now, since we started fasting, now, at least probably 5 minutes to 7, the sun might have set, then we can break our fast. In this geographical location that we found ourselves. Then this 5 minutes to 7 p.m., on what latitude and on what longitude did it fall into? We should search for it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive every one of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala count this as an act of ibadah that is going to accept from us. Brothers, we are saying all this for us not to fall, so that all our effort will not be abortive, so that we can be within the confine of what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to do. Another hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned to us, that An Ubaydullah ibn Iyad, Sami'tu Iyad ibn Laki, Sami'tu Layli, Imratun Yasir ibn Hasaso, qalat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that conjoining fasting that you want to do wisal is not allowed in Islam. That you want to continue fasting, you have the strength, you continue fasting, you won't break fast, you carry it till the next day. It's not allowed in Islam. That is what we call al-wisal. A particular woman during the time of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam called Bashira bin Asosiya, called as she said, Aratu ana asumu yawmayn muwasila famana'ani yasir. She said she had the intention of conjoining her fasting till the following day. But Yasir denied her from doing that. Faqala. Yasir now told her, Inna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam na'a anihu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade us. He made it a taboo that none of us should conjoin any fasting the way you used to conjoin salat. Some people will not observe Zuhr and Nasr. They will say, Ìrun àkíkọ̀ ni jọ̀nà ọba lójú. The one that you even observe separately, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might not even accept it. Not to talk of the one you did not pray at the same time, you now conjoin them together again. So also, fasting. Even those that used to fast Sha'ban. Some people used to fast from Rajab, Sha'ban, till they get to Ramadan. Islamically is not advisable. From the sunnah of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you have been fasting, if you have few days to Ramadan, you terminate the fasting. And if you have not been fasting before this full Sha'ban, before Shaban gets to the middle, 15th of Shaban, it's rather you preserve whatever you want to fast till another year. You leave the remaining 15 days to Ramadan, get yourself prepared and welcome Ramadan with good health. Not talk of you that you now say you want to fast 90 days from Rajab, Shaban, Ramadan. You are not expected to do that. So this woman says she wants to do wisal. She wants to fast for your maid consecutively. So Bishop now told her that no, you can't do that. Because Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forbade us from doing that. So whenever you fast, you must do what? You must break. Break your fasting at the appropriate time. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam now said, Yafalu zalika nasuriya. That the people that used to conjoin their fasting, they are the Christians, Nasara. Sumu kama amarkumullah, kama amarakumullah. All of you should fast the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had enjoined you to fast. And it was mentioned that because of this incident, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Summa atimu siyama ila layli, that you should continue your fasting to the later part of the day and break your fasting. When it is at the night, faftiru, you people should break your fast. So in Islam, there is nothing like doing what? Conjoining fasting together. Break the fast at the right time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this as an act of ibadah from us. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabiyyi ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallim taslima. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala ma la nabiyya ba'da. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us this opportunity to be here today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this as an act of ibadah from us. Conclusively, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has encouraged every one of us to fast this our Ramadan as He has prescribed unto Nabiyyuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is what we have been trying to teach or discuss with every one of us since last week. So our bottom line of discussion today is concerning the iftar, the fajr, the time of the fasting, and how the alternation of the days and night is affecting our what? Is affecting our iftar, and how it's affecting our what? Our sahur. That is what we discussed today. Yan uwa, abinda muka faɗa a takarce shine batun sahur da muke ci, abincin safe da muke ci a cikin azumin nan, kuma da bude baki da muke yi, yanda Allah subhanahu wataala ya gaya mana a cikin Qur'ani, kuma yanda manzo sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya ruwaito mana ce gashi yanda yake ku yi azumin ku. Allah ya gaya mana a cikin Qur'ani, littafi mai gaskiya, ya ce ku yi ta cin abinci, ku yi ta cin abinci, ku yi ta shan ruwa zuwa lokacin da farin zare za ku samu ku yi bambanci tsakanin bakin zare da farin zare. A cikin aya da muka karanta sati ko mako da ya wuce shi ne muka kawo, domin cikin tsakiyar aya ne wannan karatun take. Ku yi ta cin abinci, ku yi ta shan ruwa sai kun samu bambanci tsakanin farin zare da bakin zare. Kuna bi na ko? To, Al-Khayt a cikin larabci ma'anansa a takarce shine zare. To kuma Allah kuma ya kawo a cikin jawabinsa zare ne, kuma ya ne zare, me za mu yi da zare a cikin azumi? So su larabawa ba su fahimtu da magana Allah din nan ba, da kalma din nan ba. Kuma kun gani ko a cikin larabci iri yaren larabci ne muke da shi. Kamar yadda muna da shi a cikin Hausan Kano yanzu yana da bambanci da namu a Zazzau. Na Zazzau yana da bambanci da na Sokoto. Na Sokoto yana da bambanci da na Katsina. Kuma duka za a ce arewa ce, amma kalmomin bakin su yana da bambanci. Haka ne a gurin su Yarbawa ma. Yarbawa Ilori in zai kira maka kai zai ce eri. Amma Yarbawa Ofa ko Yarbawa na Osun za su ce ori. Na Ilori zai zama o a nan kuma a Lagos a nan. Yarbawan Lagos in za su gaishe da juna mutane a Wori a nan Lagos ma da mutane Lagos Island Yarbawanci su daban-daban ne. Kafin mu ce za mu je wasu state mu je Ilesha. Su mutane Ijesha babbanci a yare su da mutane Oshogo. Aka nema Larabci. So Larabci da mutane suka fahimtu sosai shine Larabci na su Qurayshawa mutanen Makka. Kuma da shine harshensa ne Allah ya ruwaito ya sauka da me da Qur'ani. So Al-Khayt a cikin ayan nan ma'anansa a yare shine me zare. To su Larabawan nan in za su yi bacci sai su je su nemi zare, farin zare da bakin zare, sai su daura shi a kafafuwansu. Suna so su san lokacin da rana zai fito domin su gan hasken rana da zai nuna masu bakin zare lokacin da za su dakatar da cin sahur. Domin abin da suka fahimta da hatta ya tabayyana khaytul abyadi min al-khayti al-aswadi. Wannan aya din nan a cikin wani shekara ne ta sauko. Min al-fajri zuwa lokacin alfajari wani bayan shekara ne. So ba su da wannan. So duk abin da suke bukata shi da su ga hasken rana ya fito sai su dakatar da me ci abinci. Ba su san ce akwai wani aya ko ni dan aya ba babban ba aya guda ɗaya bane kamar yaro aya da ya sauka bayan maganan Allah, bayan da Allah ya maganan zare din nan da Allah ya sa karkashin sa ce ku daina cin abinci lokacin da alfajiri ya fito. Ba su da wannan. Ba laifin su ba. Ya kamata in kawo wani maganan Abdullahi ibn Mas'ud ya faɗa kuma gaskiya ne kuma hadisi mai lafiya lau ne, amma abun da ya faru ne wayansu sun zo gurin manzo sallallahu alaihi wasallam sun ji wannan magana bakin shi, sun zo kaman sun zo daga Maiduguri. Wanda ya zo daga Maiduguri da ya zo yi karatu a nan ya yi karatu shekara 10 ya wuce. Bayan da ya tafi wani aya ya sauko shi bai da wannan, kuma ba technological advancement, ba waya lokacin. Yanzu muna so yi magana da mutane mu a can kauye yanzu za mu kira su. In kana so ka kira wani a Saudiya yanzu za ka kira shi. In kana so ka yi magana da wani mutum a America yanzu a sayuwa na dinnan za mu yi ta kiransu ko da babu wayan nan. So wanda ya zo da manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam shekara 10 da kuma zai taka ya koma gari su yayi shekara 2 akan hanya, to ina zai samu ce an hada wani abu a cikin aya din nan kuma. So matsala da su Larabawan nan suke da shi lokacin kenan. To wannan kenan. So akwai wani babban sahabe sunansa Hadiyy ibn Hateem Alhusomy. Babban sahabe ne a wajen manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Shi ma Larabawa ne amma ba Larabawa na Makka bane. Kuna fahimtu ko? Shi ba Larabawa na Makka bane. Shi bai ma ya je ya nema zare ba, ya je ya nema ukulaini. In muna ce zare khaytu kenan. Ya je ya nemo me? Igiya kuma a larabci kankana na larabci elementary Arabic da we call igiya hablun. Amma a cikin wannan Qur'ani an ce ukalaini, a cikin tafsir Ibn Kasir an ce ukalaini. Igiya masu nauyi sosai guda biyu, fari da me da baki. Shi ya je ya nemo igiya ba ma zare ba, kusan igiya ya ma fi zare karfi ko, sai je ya sa a karkashi matashin kai filo. Sai yana ta ci abinci yana neman lokacin da hasken rana zai fito ya zai askanta da me da zare da igiyoyin nan. Da yi wannan rana ɗaya sai kuma waje manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sai je giya ma manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ce ya rasulullah ga abin da na yi giya fa, na je na nemi igiyoyi guda biyu baki da fari. Me ke nema? Ina neman lokacin alfajiri ne fa. Sai manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sai giya masa kalmomi guda 4. Na ɗaya ya ce masa ya Hadiyy ibn Hateem, innaka la aridu. Ha, kai Hadiyyu kana da babban kai. Kuma a larabci ko in an gaya ma mutum wannan kalma innaka la arid, ya Zahraddin innaka la harid, kai Zahraddin kana da babban kai. Ana gaya masa ce yana da kai bai da kalkulwa kenan, ma'anansa kenan a larabci. Amma mun taba ganin da manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya zage mutum ne? Bai zagi kowa ba. To karin magana kenan. Na daya kenan. Na biyu sai ya masa ce ya Hadiyyu inna wisadaka la harid. Wisada a larabci shine me? Shine matashin kai, filo. Ya ce to bayan kana da babban kai ko kana da matashin kai babba, kusa yana magana yana jan hankalinsa kenan. Na uku sai ya masa ya Hadiyyu innaka la haridul qafa. Kai ya harid kana da babban kai, kana da babban matashin kai, ya hada guda biyu a gida uku. Na hudu yana cikin sahih Bukhari. Sai ya masa cewa ya haridu innaka la duham. Ya harid ya Hadiyyu kai kana da mai jiki, kai mai jiki ne. You are very fat, you are obese. Sai ya masa da Allah duk wannan abubuwa wanda bai yi saurare da kyau ba zai ce ko bai fahimtu ba zai ce manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam yana zagin sahabansa kenan. Kuma manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa man yantiku anil awa in huwa illa wahyu yuha. Abun da ba ruwaito ba so kuma masa da shi ba wallahi bai zai fita bakin sa ba. Sai ma Hadiyy ibn Hateem sai mashi bayanai wannan kalmomi guda hudu ne nan. Domin ba na son dawo kan magana nan, bari in fassara sai mu wuce insha Allah. Na da innaka la harid ya ga masa ce kai kana da babban kai. Gaskiya ne yana da babban kai, domin ma'anan al-khaytul abyadi min al-khaytil aswadi min al-fajri shine a ce kamar wani abu yana arewa, al-mashriq wal maghrib, inda rana yana fitowa kuma inda rana yana fadowa. Ma'anarsa kenan. So manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya ga masa ce to ya Hadiyyu in ka ce kana da babban matashin kai ko to kanka din nan ba mamaki kai mai fadi ne, da yake kai kanka din nan ko in mun gwada ta fadinta nauyinta zai kai nauyin inda rana yake fitowa kuma inda rana yana fadowa. To manzo Allah ya zage shi kenan domin ya ce yana da babban kai. Na biyu ya ce kana da matashin kai mai fadi. Ya gaya masa ce ma'anan kalmar nan da na gaya maka shine inda rana yake fitowa kuma inda rana yake ne yana fadowa. Na biyu kenan. Na uku innaka la aridul qafa. Kai da kanka da matajinka kai Hadiyyu ba mamaki kai da kana da wannan kaje ka sa igiyoyi guda biyu a kashi to da kanka da matashin kaɗinka za suna da fadi kenan sosai. Na hudu innaka la duham kana da girma sosai. To domin kai da kana da babban katifa, kana da babban matashin kai, kana da babban kai, dole jikinka ma yayi girma. Ma'anan kalmomin nan manzo Allah sallallahu sai manzo Allah ya gaya masa ya Hadiyyu ma'anan wannan al-khaytul abyadu min al-khaytil aswadi min al-fajri, ma'anansa shine me fitowar rana da fadowar rana, lokacin da za ku ci sahur kuma da lokacin da za ku bude baki. Ma'anan kenan. To Hadiyy ibn Hateem din nan shi bai da min al-fajri, kun san na ga muku ce wai aya din nan so bi da ta sauka a year after the other. So shi ya riga ya koyi karatu a manzo Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya wuce. So lokacin da an cika masa aya din nan bai sani ba. So iru abubuwa din nan suna da yawa a cikin Islam. So in za mu nemi bayani, in za mu nemi fatwa, mu san inda za mu nemi fatwa, mu san inda ya mu nemo bayanai a gurin su malamin kware. Allah ya sa mu gama lafiya. Kuma mu yi magana akan yanda rana din nan, yanda duhu yake fitowa, yanda rana yake fitowa, duka mu yi magana yanda Allah ya koyar da mu a cikin Al-Qur'ani daga bakin manzo sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah ya sa mu gama lafiya. Anan ne za mu dakatar da magana sahur. Magana azumi ma ga baki daya duk abin da Allah ya kawo to Allah ya kawo kenan. Amma magana azumi za mu dakatar da ta yau tunda mu yi sati da wuce kuma mu yi sati mu yi yau kuma insha Allah. Domin niyya dina ne yanda na gaya mana mu yi magana kan a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim har karshe suratul fatiha. Kuma na san ko sati 7 ma muna kai. Amma ba na son fara abin da ba zan gama ba. So sai na koma baya cikin wannan aya inda Allah ya gaya mana wa isa sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qaribun ujibu da'wata da'i iza da'ani. Wannan yayi magana kan addu'a ne. Aya da muka karanta kafin wannan uyila lakum lailatas siyami rafasu ila nisaikum. So sati mai zuwa Allah ba mu rai da lafiya da cikakken imani za mu koma baya. Qur'an Chapter 2 verse 186. We have discussed it last week, but I want to go back to it extensively. How we need to be supplicating. What are the conditions that we need to observe so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can answer our prayers. I hope we are okay. MashaAllah. Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i zil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi ya'izukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is enjoying every one of us. Ya'murukum bil adli. We should be just in whatever we are doing. If we are talking, don't talk too much. Don't talk too much. Yes, you are the one that can say it. You have a very sharp tongue. They are pushing you. They are pushing you. You are the only one. You are the only one. Tell them that is Allah. Majority of people, ma la yakunu fala yakunu bi illatin abadan ma huwa ka'inu sayakun. And today, kana ka lam yakun. They have existed yesterday and they are still in the life today, but nobody recognizes them any longer. So whichever opportunity you have, you take it mahalan. Ya'murukum bil adli, within our children, within our wives, within our family, within our people working around us, and the people we are also serving. Be just. Don't destroy anybody because you want them to recognize you. And those of you that your boss is here, be lenient with the people working under you. Use the disciplinary measure, use it on them, but be justified. Let it be justifiable. Don't use the natural instinct that is in you as a human being. Use the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to judge everybody. Wa huwa akamul hakimin. Well, ihsan, let every one of us do good. Part of the goodness that we need to do, every one of you, flashback. Allah ta'ala al-insanu hinu min ad-dari lam yakun shay'an mashkura. Some of you just have an accidental opportunity. You are able to come out from your village. That even now, if we ask you to take us to your village, you can't even show us that this is your house because you came out from a very wretched family. Allah now brought you to the community, to the town. You now became somebody that somebody is saying yes sir to. You now forgot the people that you came out from. There are some of us here that they contributed community money. That let's send him to school. When he become liberated, he will remember us. And you don't remember them. Sumaradadnahu as far as Safini. Wa ita izil kurba. Your family members. Every one of us should look at the journey since they gave birth to us. Some of us, we are not opportunists. Some of us, our parents, you are striking inside mud. Not even inside sand. You might have a stability on the sand, but inside mud, the more you are raising your leg, you are sinking in another mud. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this opportunity. You are not seeing yourself. You now be saying we, whatever we want. Who are you? It's only Allah that can say we. Actually in Quran, Allah says, Inna, we. Arifun tawkidu, Inna nanu, nazalna sikira. It's the only one that can say, nanu. And even you cannot say, Ana. Who are you? It is whatever I say that must come to pass. Who are you? Wa ita is in kurba, our family members. Remember them. Me, I used to speak from experience. Wallahi, some to be Rabbil Kaaba. If you see some people at their old age, you pity them. The children you are laboring for now, they might desert you tomorrow. And in the family, you didn't remember anybody. In those days, they used to call some people, Baba Adeba, Baba Sokoto, Baba Eko, you, Baba Kinanpeyi. When you are going for Ileya, you go to the village, they will rush down to come and greet you. Baba Eko today, Baba Lagos Yazo, Baba Sokoto Yazo, who is welcoming you? Every one of you. Flashback. Whenever you go to your village now, how many from your extended family, how many people used to come and greet you?
Because you are not useful. You are not even useful for yourself. Why do you want to be useful for the family? You will need them tomorrow. And if you are no more alive, your children will need them. When you time for what you do, when you tell them kurba, remember your family members. Those of you that forget your mother, you forget your parents will now be crying. And I have social person working down for the refinery because they thought any refinery you are just plucking money. You don't let them know your level that you are collecting 50,000 naira salary, that you are struggling to live. You didn't tell them to know where they will direct their dua to. That I hear roti that I can package any. Somebody that not even have 1,000 in his account, you go and borrow somebody limousine that want to go and oppress somebody. Allah said all social vices, nefarious activities, all these social media that has polluted the whole world. Majority of us will lose control individually and we can't control our children. See this cartoon that you are paying for on DSTV. The danger in those cartoons, it is tomorrow that majority realize that you have used your hand to dig the grave that you and your family will sleep. That you are not regulating what your children, your wife, you are here now suffering. Some of you have not collected salary for 2-3 months. Some of you have 3, 4, 5 buildings that you are collecting rented. They incubated you here like an embryo in an incubator. That Olowo ni laduko won amodomo ranse ninu refinery. Mekudile akayensu amayadona amayedesi ni motelochi. You are suffering here and you are not preparing for your future. At old age, that is when you are going to realize. The only thing you know is to sell students school fee. You don't know their well-being. You don't know where your wife is stepping to. You trust your wife, you trust your wife, you trust your wife. You don't know where she is going through. You are even there training the children. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you kudos, you left all your children for your wife. You are not checkmating them. It is on the old age that is supposed to be resting with grey hair. That is when they now phone you. Now say, your boy is among the armed robbers they caught along Ikote Road. Your boy is among the people that have broken the vault of CBN. And you are a righteous man. Maybe the time you are going to receive that distress call, maybe you are there that you are reading Quran. That the only thing you are waiting for is when Al-Akumu Atazul Tumulmako Bira. Maybe that is what you are waiting for. They will not be giving you bad news about your children because you are not there for them yesterday. So you too, you now die a premature death before your death. Because every time you say, if you are even eating chicken that they imported from inside Kaaba, the more you are eating it, good food, the more you will be becoming skinny. Because you will know you not die inside the house, nobody will even know that you have died. Everybody should plan for his future on his children. And those of you conclusively, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed, that you are landlords. Don't make life miserable for your tenants. Who can vouch that it is the work that you have done, that you have acquired money to build all the houses that you have put on rented? And most of this money, some of you stole them. And Allah bless you. He allow you to build them. You are not making life difficult for the tenant. Don't forget, majority of the children of those tenants are those that are going to buy those properties tomorrow from you. Especially during Ramadan. Leave it for free for people. How much is it? That 1 month, use it as sadaqah for them. So that you too can use it as a wasila to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every year as a Muslim, and you are always in the front of Masjid. Every year you go to Umrah, every year you go to Mecca, and you are making life difficult for your tenant. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made life difficult for you, will you find yourself where you are? Ẹbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run. Àjísọ̀rọ̀ Allah. Every year. Do you know the number of natures that you bend their own destiny before you are able to erect a block to raise a foundation where you build a house? I can count it for you. Living souls that you destroy their own life to build that structure that Allah gave you. Allah gave you the building that your father labored for. He went to Ghana, he went to Côte d'Ivoire, he went to Ivory Coast, he went to Abidjan. Bó ṣe lọ ló ṣe bọ̀. BLMB is a certificate. Bó ṣe lọ ló ṣe bọ̀. Kò mú nǹkan kan dé. You that you not live in Akodo and Idasho, everything you lay your hand on, Allah is blessing it. You are the one building this, you are the one building this. And your father sojourned all the world. At the end of the day, he has nothing to show for it. it is you that you are now making life difficult for people. Ìwọ ọmọ ilé abẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀, ọmọ ilé lẹ́lẹ̀ tó délé ọkọ tó dáṣọ rú. Òjísọ̀rọ̀ àlàfà torí kò sẹ́ni tí ò ní fọlá rẹ̀ pìtàn. الإسلام جمع العافية. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين وانصر عبادك الموحدين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكيها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا صلى الله عليه وسلم. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.